Open any biology textbook and the rule seems simple. 2 X chromosomes and you are female. 1 X and 1 Y and you are male. That tiny Y chromosome carries a gene called SRY, the master switch that triggers the development of male characteristics. It has been doing this job for over 160 million years. But here is what the textbook does not tell you. The Y chromosome is dying. 300 million years ago, the X and Y chromosomes were the same size. They each carried about 1,400 genes. They were equals. Today, the X chromosome still carries about 900 genes. The Y chromosome has just 55. It has lost 97% of its original genes, and it is still shrinking. Scientists estimate that at the current rate of decay, the Y chromosome will disappear completely in roughly 4.6 million years. That might sound like a long time, but when you consider that life on Earth has existed for 3.5 billion years, 4.6 million is the blink of an eye. The chromosome that defines biological maleness is on a countdown. And the clock is already ticking. So what happens when it hits zero? Do men go extinct? Does humanity split into new species? Or does evolution find a workaround? The answers scientists are finding right now are stranger than anything you could imagine. To understand why the Y chromosome is disappearing, you need to understand what makes it different from every other chromosome in the human body. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. In 22 of those pairs, both chromosomes are roughly the same size and swap genetic material with each other during reproduction. This swapping process is called recombination, and it is nature's repair mechanism. When a gene gets damaged, recombination allows the chromosome to copy a healthy version from its partner. It is like having a backup drive for your DNA. But the Y chromosome does not have this luxury. It is paired with the X, but the two are so different in size and structure that most of the Y cannot swap material with the X. This means the Y chromosome has no backup. When a gene on the Y gets damaged, it stays damaged. When it loses a gene, that gene is gone forever. Over millions of years, this one-way decay has stripped the Y chromosome down to a fraction of its former self. Australian geneticist Jenny Graves, one of the world's leading experts on the Y chromosome, has been sounding the alarm for years. She told the BBC, "There are only 45 genes on the Y chromosome, and just one of these makes you male. A few others help make sperm, but for the rest, we do not quite know why they are there." Graves believes the Y chromosome is doomed and that its disappearance could eventually cause a reproductive crisis for our species. But not everyone agrees. In 2012, researcher Jennifer Hughes at MIT compared the human Y chromosome with that of the rhesus macaque, a monkey whose evolutionary path split from humans 25 million years ago. She found that the rhesus Y chromosome had not lost a single gene in all that time. The human Y had lost just one. Her boss, geneticist David Page, declared that the new evidence simply destroys the theory of the rotting Y. The debate continues to this day, but while scientists argue about whether the Y will vanish in millions of years, something more immediate is already happening inside the bodies of men alive right now. It is called loss of Y, or LOY. As men age, some of their cells lose their Y chromosome entirely. This is not rare. Studies show that by age 70, up to 40% of a man's blood cells may have lost their Y chromosome. For decades, scientists assumed this did not matter. The Y chromosome carries so few genes that its absence in individual cells seemed insignificant. That assumption was catastrophically wrong. In March 2026, a major review published in Scientific American revealed that men who lose their Y chromosome in blood cells face significantly higher risks of cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and shorter lifespans. The Y chromosome, it turns out, carries several genes that act as tumor suppressors and regulate immune function. When cells lose the Y, they lose these protective genes, and become more vulnerable to disease. Research has also linked loss of Y to kidney fibrosis, where scar tissue builds up and damages the organ. And studies suggest that LOI may contribute to Parkinson's disease through the loss of the SRY gene, which plays a role in brain function that scientists are only beginning to understand. The Y chromosome is not just a switch that makes you male. It is an active participant in keeping you alive, and millions of men are losing it, cell by cell, every day. But here is where the story takes its strangest turn. On a small island in southern Japan called Amami Oshima, there lives a rodent that has already done what scientists fear humans might face in the future. The Amami spiny rat has completely lost its Y chromosome. Both males and females are genetically XX. There is no Y, there is no SRY gene. And yet, males still exist. The species still reproduces. Males still develop testes and produce sperm. So how is this possible? In 2022, researchers led by Professor Osato Kuroiwa at Hokkaido University solved the mystery. They found that a small piece of DNA, a duplication of about 17,000 base pairs, had moved to a completely different chromosome. This duplicated fragment sits near a gene called SOX9, which is essential for male development. In most mammals, the SRY gene on the Y chromosome activates SOX9 to trigger male development. But in the Amami spiny rat, the duplicated DNA fragment does this job instead. It acts as a new switch, a replacement for the gene that was lost when the Y chromosome disappeared. When the researchers inserted this fragment into lab mice, the mice developed testes even without a Y chromosome. The experiment proved that evolution can build a new road when the old one collapses. The Y chromosome is not the only path to maleness. It is just the one we happen to be using right now. But this discovery raises a haunting possibility. If different human populations eventually develop different replacement genes, those populations might become reproductively incompatible. They could no longer interbreed. Humanity could split into two or more separate species, not because of geography or culture, but because of genetics. Jenny Graves herself acknowledged this when she said, "When humans run out of Y chromosome, they might become extinct, or they might evolve a new sex gene that defines new sex chromosomes. The future is not certain. But one thing is clear. The chromosome that has defined what it means to be male for over 160 million years is fading. Inside the bodies of aging men, it is already vanishing, cell by cell. In the genome of a Japanese rat, it has already disappeared entirely. And somewhere in the deep machinery of evolution, the backup plan is already being written. The question is not whether the Y chromosome will disappear. The question is what will replace it, and whether we will still be human when it does. This has been The Odd Vault. If this unlocked something in your mind, subscribe, because we open a new vault every week. What they didn't tell you, we will.